Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Funtime Crafts 24/7. I have a little tutorial here on what do you do with those jelly print backgrounds or stencil backgrounds that you made while you were playing around, or things like that. Maybe you had fun, doing watercolor washes or whatnot, and you end up with things like this, and like this. Oh, the sun is here. Let me put this down. Stuff like this. Like this. This might look like, well, yeah, it was fun doing that, but how do I turn this into a card? What do I do with this? Well, there's actually quite a simple formula that works about 99.9% of the time. That works for me. And it seems like no matter what I do, when I get backgrounds, especially ones that don't look necessarily like you could do anything with them, they're usually the ones that actually turn out the most fun. And basically all you're doing is you're turning them into art by framing them and matting them. Framing them and or matting them. So what I do is most of the time when I get these type of prints, I'm working with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Like these were the ones I swatched out yesterday. This was a whole sheet of paper that I just literally cut down. How was this? Maybe, was it this way? No, it had to be that way. Anyhow, this was a sheet of paper, an 8.5 by 11, that I cut it in 4. So you ended up with 4 pieces that were 4.25 by 5.5. And then what I did was I took that individual piece and I then cut it down to a manageable size of 3.75 by 5. So you're basically taking a 1/2 inch off each side, and you're turning it into a little piece of artwork that you're going to then figure out what works best, to whether you're going to add black to it or whether you're going to add white. And the formula is, if you take an 8.5 by 11 jelly print or project that you have, art project that you made, and you cut it in 4 and then cut those pieces down to where you're working with a 3.25 by 5.5, you're going to either mat it on a black cardstock, an A2 size card base, a white one, or a black one. And then you're going to add, if it merits it, either a black mat that's 4 by 5.25, or a white mat that is 4 by 5.25. And what happens is you're adding a highlights and shadows. You're adding the contrast that the project needs to make it a cohesive piece that your brain can comprehend, because what you're doing is you're framing it. You're actually turning it into art. A little fun art project. And so if we look at these here that I've done, and then what you're going to do on top of that is you're just going to add black or white to the top of it. You're not going to put any more color on it because it's already either A, busy enough and there's a ton of color on it, or the pattern is just so busy. So you're trying to cut that down. And so let's look at this right here. You would think that this piece here, if you look at it, like when I took the stencil off last night, like I ripped it there, the colors are all wonky and all over the page, and you're kind of going, what can you do with that? Like, shouldn't you throw that in the trash? Well, not really, because all it is now an eclectic piece of art. And now you've added structure to it, which is what it needed, and literally turned it into a piece of artwork by matting it and framing it. See the difference there? And now it's cohesive. And you can cover that up or leave it as texture by adding now black and white. See, black and white there. Or you can add this way. And you're just going to fiddle around with black and white. And black and white is what makes it cohesive and like art. Wait, let's get this. I should just go ahead and glue it down. There you go. And look at that. Isn't that cool? Like, how cool is that? And same here. Like, so this one needed a matte. It looked better with the matte. And on white. So now this one, this is a really dark one. So you're going to put it on a white card base. But how you figure that out is you kind of test. You just test. Like, okay, well this is, hey, that actually looks pretty good. But it looks better on this because it pops. So then, well, does it need a matte? Should we matte it at all? So let's pop this up on a, this is a 4 1/4 by, or 4 by 5 1/4. And now, does that help it? Well, not really. I mean, it makes it look nice, so you could standardly do that. But it actually pops more with the bigger border on it. Okay, and now if you want to add a sentiment, what you're going to do is you're going to add white. So basically, you could add that. You could even add this one here if you wanted. And you could white emboss on the top of that. And look how nice that looks. And any of these you can do that with. So like, if you just add black or white. So here's this one, which that looks nice. Let's get a black card base. Yeah, that looks good. Look at that. Look at all the colors, how vibrant they are. And let's see, maybe we need a matte instead, and we want to put it on white. Oh, now that amps it up, doesn't it? So then for an embellishment, what should we do? You could just do black, which that looks awesome. Throw a sentiment down here, a black and white sentiment down there. You could, because we're just sticking, when you have these really bold pattern prints that you've done, you want to stick with just black and white. That's all we're adding. And now look at that. That looks stinking cool, doesn't it? And it looks like it was all planned. And someone's going to look at that and go, how in the world did you do that? And all you were doing was just playing around and testing stuff out. And look at how cool that is. And so any of these, like here's another one. This one I did a fun little frame with it. This is the largest scallop die from the Stamps of Life there. Popped it on there and stuck it on a white card base. Here, let's move this out of the way. And then bam, look at that. Look how fun that is. You're framing your artwork basically is what you're doing. And it's just an abstract piece of art that is just ends up being so beautiful. So we can add the little bee there, which looks cool. We can add the butterfly if you like more, these more elegant type of elements. That looks really cool. And all you're doing is layering black or white. We could do just even this simple double heart scallop, and you could put your sentiment right in the middle there. And how pretty is that? So don't throw these away when you're done playing with them. Take out your black and white cardstock and just do simple embellishments and frame your artwork. It's super easy and really fun. As soon as I get these put together, I'll give it a whirl. Oh wait, I was going to show you this too. So this here is a bunch of Stamps of Life paper. They were strips I had left over from Bright's Everyday Collection. They were just pieces of paper that I had left over. And so I ripped them, glued them together, and then I did the same thing. I cut them down 3 1/4 by 5. And now when you mat them with black, pop them on a white card base, Boom. Done. Add a sentiment. Black and white. Or embellishment, I mean. Black and white. Bam. Look how cool that looks. That's so nice and so easy. And it's with all your leftover pieces. What do you do with them? Rip them up, glue them to a page, cut them down, and the structure of the card base and the light and dark of the white and the black just makes it look like it's art and super fun. Alright, just wanted to share that with you. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, I just want to do a little recap on the black and white artsy card formula and then do the project share on the cards that I created from this method. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your project and you want to cut it down to canvas size, which is this here, 3 3/4 by 5 inches by 5 inches. And then step 2, you're going to decide if you want to mat your art project. Let's get a really funky one. Let's do like this. So you're going to decide if you want to do a black or a white matte, because everything on the artsy card formula is you're only adding to your project either black or white. And this is not the end all be all. This is just literally giving you a jumping off point to creating something that 99% of the time looks really nice when you're done. So then you take your artsy canvas, and I think I want to do a black mat with this one. And your black mat 4 inches by 5 1/4. Then you're going to decide if you want a white or a black card base, an A2 size card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So since I picked a black mat, I'm going to do a white card base. So now I add this. So now the next step you're going to decide is, do I want to leave it like this, like an artsy project, like that is really pretty, looks really cool and very intentional, or do I want to keep adding to it? Maybe I have somebody in mind. I want to make a thank you card, or I want to do a happy birthday. So then I want to decide if I want a black with white sentiment on top, or a white with a black sentiment on top. So then I pick, well, that looks pretty cool. I think I like that one better. Do I want to stick with that, or which that looks pretty good. That's awesome. Or do I want to keep adding embellishments to it? Let's see. I've created some over here. You could add, instead of that, you could add something like what if we do this? We'll add this little black and white little pig. Which stamps of life, little pig there. Stamped it in black on white. And we could just say, oh, here, missing you pig time. We could add this to it. Hey, that looks pretty cool. If we don't want to stamp, we could actually just add, maybe let's take some of this Tim Holtz foliage and add that and put our sentiment back on. And that looks pretty cool. Maybe we don't want to do foliage. Maybe we have punches and we want to utilize our punches. So I think the sentiment will look pretty cool up here. And maybe, do we want a heart? That looks cool. Hey, maybe let's add a little kitty cat. We could add a little kitty cat back down there. Well, then do I want to stick with this giant sentiment, which looks really awesome and it's bold? Or should I go with a little more simple, where the little kitty cat is sitting on it, but maybe I want it matted? All still black and white elements. All really awesome. And this here actually goes with the eclecticness of our artsy card. I think I really like that. You know, so there's all different things that you can actually do, but by just sticking to the basics, black and white, and creating a really cool, fun project. The one thing I did want to say is Stamps of Life has, I think, some of the most, the best sentiments for these types of projects. This artsy card project. They're bold, they're really large, and they come with the shadow die, which is, I think, pretty important. for making them stand out and making it really easy. So you might want to check out their sentiments and stuff that they have on Stenciled Life website. But that's the basic formula. I just wanted to go over that because I don't know if it was clear, very clear. These are the dimensions that you're working with. Your canvas size, 3 3/4 by 5. Your optional mat size, you don't have to use a mat, 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then your card base is an A2, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Like I said, this is just the jumping off point to get your feet wet if you want to play around with your jelly prints. And this system works with just about anything like this, whether it's an inky background, a stenciled background, a jelly print, any of this type of media, a color wash. You can use any of that and apply it to this formula, and generally you come out with some really super fun, cool stuff. So like this is not even this is just a ripped paper background that I was sharing with you. And how cool is this? Thank you sentiment, black card base, white matte, just ripped the paper like I had said. And how fun is that? The cool thing is if you're working on an 8.5 by 11, you can create card sets that you could give to somebody as a gift. So here is the background that we did with the stenciling. I was showing you my new stencils. And not new stencils, I was showing you sharing the icing paste. And here we created these cards. And how fun. These don't have mats. And they just have a simple sentiment. And so you icing pasted stencil background and bam, look at that. Super fun. Total funness. So this is a scalloped die from Stamps of Life, the large scallop in the scalloped rectangle set. And still the same idea. White, matte, on a black card base, black and white sentiment. All we're adding is black and white. And look how cool. And here you have a super fun card set, right? This is the background that was another one we were swatching those fun icing pastes on. And you have all that beautiful color, all that dimension with the icing paste, that shimmer and shine. Same idea though, just black and white, and added a black, another additional black embellishment on there. I mean, super cool. Changed up the matte design. Still black and white though. And how fun. A little card set there. Couple of thank you cards, couple birthday cards, and bam, there's a card set. You could give that as a gift. These are the inky backgrounds that we did that I showed you in a video. This was one that was just supposed to be garbage because I was cleaning my roller off. And it's a beautiful pastel background. And how fun is that? You can do these. There's a card set. This has that pretty old silver icing paste on it. Dimension, shine, just beautiful stuff here. These are, I mean, who would have thought these would have come out with the background the way it was? How fun is that, right? Same thing. Beautiful Stamps of Life sentiments. That's all I did. I didn't add anything else to these. Black and white matte or card base and black and white sentiment. Gorgeous. And then here's this fun one. This really cool. These are super eclectic. And even the one that I can't even find. See, like this one's the one that had the ripped paper on it. You can't tell. By adding it like this and turning it into artwork, you created an image that looks like it was purposefully, intentionally made. And how fun is that? This ended up being, that one piece of paper ended up being a set of 4 super fun, gorgeous note cards you could hand out as a gift. And then here, I left these blank. Another swatched paper as well with the icing paste, just on black. Just icing paste on black cardstock. And bam, another note card set. You could leave it with just a basic embellishment there. You can add a sentiment on top of this later if you wanted to. Or you could just bundle these all up and give them as a set. But how cool is that? So don't get discouraged if things look funky and they don't look like they could turn into anything. But that's what all this was. These projects here were these items here. And how fun, you know, how fun did they turn out? I mean, that is pretty cool, right? And so, hope you have fun trying out all the stuff that you have probably stored on your shelves. Wipe the dust off, get them out, your jelly plates, your icing paste, your Inka Gold, your any, you know, watercolors you wanted to try. Start playing with them, and then use this basic formula and turn them into little pieces of art, little art projects. Or get your extra paper, rip it up, glue it too, and then cut it down and create cool art like that. And so there it is. There it is again one more time. The canvas size, 3 3/4 by 5. Your mat size, if you want to use it, 4 inches by 5 1/4. Your card base, A2, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And have some fun. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope it was helpful. And until next time, thanks guys. Happy crafting.